to some extent, I mean, video games are video games, right? And it's a lot of the time you're playing it as a power fantasy, or you're playing it as escapism, or anything like that. And it seems sometimes I feel like I'm being punished for making a gameplay choice where it's like, I'm playing a freaking video game. Like, let me kill the guy without coming down on me. How do you think about that sort of balancing act?
I think for us, like, as co-creative directors of the game and guys who love the same type of game, we're very much game designers, but we also, if we can evoke emotions, or if we can let the player play some high percentage of the game in his head or her head instead of on the screen, why wouldn't we go for that? You know, so why wouldn't we want people to care about characters? It gets away from pure game mechanics, but somehow we've always loved games that are a little bit in both camps. They're trying to tell a story and evoke an emotional response and let the player express himself emotionally and tactically, but they're also game systems that you're interacting with and trying to understand, and you're just looking at pawns, you know, like did this guy see me because he turned his head randomly one direction and his view cone turned? What if I stand just outside of it? Can I make the AI look funny doing that or whatever? I mean, like, those things, that's a valid way to play the game too, and somehow I think we're some sort of hybrid of those things.
Yeah, but to answer to the question about killing somebody, I think we share that thing very much. Like, there is like this thing, like, even in, you know, back in the 90s, like when a game like Ultima would allow you to kill somebody, or, you know, we did that for Arx Fatalis. Like, you could kill people, even the neutral people or the good people, and the fact that you could do it was actually interesting, because the player would just, like, before he goes to bed, he would like, you know, you see this neutral character in a map, and you just like, can I kill it? And you try, and he dies, and then you feel bad, and you reload. Just the fact that, and, you know, you're not going to play with a dead character, because it's like, oh man, this guy looked nice, so, you know, why did I kill him? But triggering that kind of feeling in a player is just fantastic, because at the end of the day, those are just polygons. It doesn't matter if he's dead or not. It's just, you know, we won't come back to you about it. But somehow the players have, you know, they want to somehow feel good about themselves, right? So it's an interesting phenomenon for players.
Sure.
Yeah, so you know, one of my favorite moments in Fallout New Vegas is right at the beginning of the game, where, like, you know, it's very much a Western movie subject matter, but you've rolled into town and you're talking to the people in the small town that are struggling, and the gang member comes into the bar and, like, threatens everybody, and you get the sense that what you're supposed to do is listen to the conversation and let the guy leave, and then query everybody about why the guy's such a dick and, like, what you can do to help. And the writing was so effective on me that I just, like, you know, shot him in the face right there in the bar. And it was so great that the game actually let me do that and actually reacted to that, right? Like, people said, now we're in real trouble. And I kind of think the same thing probably would have happened either way. There would have been a gang attack on the town either way. But I got the sense, at least from the conversations, that I was able to do something shocking that I wanted to do. This is a lawless area, and you're being a bastard, and you're threatening these people, so I'm going to end you right now. And then, you know, the follow-up attack by the gang, like, it felt in some way like something I had triggered, you know.
So yeah, we're going to have those moments in Dishonored where you'll find the target, the target who is, you know, your main objective is to kill this target. But then occasionally you'll have really a choice, like, do I really kill him or not? And again, this is like, you know, according to how we build this character, you might feel really bad about killing him. But one of the, you know, it might be a mission, so it's your choice to just, like, do I do it, or do I try to find a way to spare his life, etc. And again, you know, you can go either way. What is important here is the space of possibilities. Is the fact that no matter what, you know that you did something, but you could have done something else, and this to us is super important.
Yeah, these touch upon, you know, the narrative design of the game, right? Like micro branching and the aggregate system for chaos, and whether you did a favor for somebody and how different characters react to you. It
brings meaning to your choices, to your actions.
It contextualizes your actions. You know, we could talk just as long about, you know, the mobility and the, like, the combat system and the stealth system and all that. But yeah, these questions focus specifically on the narrative design, and it is something that's important to us. And I think it's important to us not because I guess it's important to us because our favorite games of all time have touched us in that way, you know.
Sure. You talk about, generating an emotional response in a player as being important to you. How do you, or I guess how does the design of, player choice and chaos and morality and all that sort of thing in Dishonored, what sort of opportunities does that give you to create those moments and create those spaces where players can act, and then you can do something in the game to really kind of drive it home or kind of generate that emotional response?
Well, first of all, I think for this game, it's like it will be up to players after the fact to tell us whether we've been successful at that or not, right? But we can both look back at past projects and see games we've worked on where it did not succeed and where it did succeed. I can look back at the first Deus Ex game and talk about the number of people that have come up to me and talked about trying to save Paul Denton. And some didn't know that they could, and some figured out that they could, and some tried 100 times. And part of it, I mean, this is the gray area, right? Part of it is you're just trying to win as the player because we want to win, and games make you feel powerful, and the games are an environment where you can try deviant behavior and not get punished too hard for it. You can express yourself. You can engage in power fantasy. You can win. You can optimize. You can be the center of attention, right? Games do all those things for sure. But another part of it is like, well, I've spent hours and hours and hours talking to this guy, and I understand his philosophy and his viewpoint. And where does one end and one begin? Like how much of this is fiction that I'm participating with, and how much of this is me wanting to win or optimize? It's hard to say. But we can point to situations like that in games we've worked on where it's very gratifying that people had a reaction like that, and I don't think you can always predict where it's going to work and where it's not going to. I actually think you should follow up with your troll flute example.
Tell me about the troll flute.
You played Arx Fatalis?
I didn't actually know.
There you go.
Sorry.
So that was an accident. Like this moment, it was our first game, so we were not so analytical about how we did things back then. But like something that worked really well in terms of like player emotional response was at some point in the game, for one of your quests you needed a flute, right? So exploring the area, at some point you hear a flute in the distance, somebody who's playing out of tune, and you see this big troll. And usually trolls are aggressive, but this one is not, and he keeps playing the flute, and so you instantly connect. You go, okay, troll, flute, kill the troll, get the flute. Come close to him, he doesn't attack you. You talk to him, and you realize it's actually, he's actually a nice troll, and he's living here on his own, and it's his birthday, and you go, oh shit, that's gonna be the birthday quest now. Okay, what am I gonna find him? And so if I find his gift, then I'm gonna get the flute, right? That's what you think. But guess what? Most players, what they do at this point is because they know that in our game you could kill people, even the quest characters, unlike some of the games who try to protect them and make them objects. Then what most people would do is that they would save, attack the troll, then the troll would fight you, and then eventually you would die, very dramatic, and and this loud noise, and you see this dead troll, loot his inventory, and find a fish, a few coins, and a flute. So it's a real person. He has the flute that I want. Guess what? Nobody would do that. And once they see that they can actually get the flute, all of them reload. They reload and they just get, okay, I'm gonna get the gift, whatever. I don't want to kill that dude. And that is an interesting thing because for us, it didn't matter. Like we did not track anything. It was not like at the end of the game we'd say, "Aha, you killed the troll. Why did you do that?" But players would just do that for themselves.
There are plenty of players that race into an area and just like instantly murder the troll, get the flute, go complete the quest or whatever. And it's like if that's how you play the game, like fine. At some level, you're playing just the game. You're checking off
but the
boxes
way we
or
set it up,
something.
people would not do that because like they would do that if the troll was aggressive. They would go, okay,
Yeah.
I get it. It's the I need to kill the troll, get the fluid. But like
But
because
here-
it was nice, it was really hard for them to do that.
Yeah, and it was his birthday and all that. Like, I mean, like, but the point here is like, when things go well on development, which is asking a lot, but when things go really well, and things, the game comes out polished and you accomplish your goals, and you've got the player who is playing in that way, he wants to have that experience, that is a powerful moment, it's, and like it seems like there are fewer and fewer games every year that like really nail that part of it. And of course, there are games out there that definitely like play upon.
Well,
these
because this is
emotions.
invisible value. It's really hard for,
Yeah.
as a developer, with a budget, with a publisher, it's really hard to say, hey, we're going to make those things, like, like this third layer of depth.
This is going to add meaning.
Yeah, this is going to add meaning.
Yeah.
I'm going to make the troll killable so that, it's like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, how do I do that? How do I write this feature on the back of a box? You can't kill anybody. It doesn't make sense.
Right.
But
If you're the kind of player who's ever had those moments in a game that felt like the possibility space for the game was just a little bit larger than you assumed it was, and you could solve a tactical situation in a way that felt like creative, like maybe the developer didn't even know about this. I exploited the powers in this way, and I came up with my own solution. Or, hey, the plot branched in this way, and this character allowed me to do something that I didn't expect to do. Whether you're talking game systems or fiction, it's like a magic moment for us, basically. And that's one of those two things that I just described are what we're always going for, really.